Hi, I'm Victoria Hatfield, and this is our research project on auditory beat stimulation efficacy in reducing college student anxiety from news media. Advancements in media technology have provided convenient avenues for rapid exposure across screens all over the nation, which exposes individuals to negative and disturbing news on a daily basis. Research by Johnson and Davies suggests that exposure to the negative content in the news can cause adverse effects on people, such as increased anxiety and stress, and that may facilitate other undesirable health conditions, such as PTSD. For college students, being overwhelmed with anxiety and stress can have an impact on their academic performance, on their health, and on social interactions and peer pressure. Numerous studies have evaluated mindfulness as an effective intervention for reducing anxiety, and research supports that mindfulness does significantly reduce anxiety. Meditation has been the focus of mindfulness, which is derived from Buddhism meditations with a desire to advance our self-awareness. And mindfulness is defined as focused attention in the now with a heightened awareness and acceptance of our feelings and emotions without judging. There are other brief intervention methods that have provided supportive results as well, like deep breathing, muscle relaxation, and auditory beat stimulation. Now, auditory beat stimulation is perceived subjectively when two different wavelengths are heard separately in each ear, which causes an action potential to fire that gives us the rate of frequency that is the difference between those two tones that we heard, which comes from neural mechanisms in our brain that enable sound localization. In Cheab et al., they suggested that anxiety is best reduced with frequencies of alpha and beta. Now, previous research has found that auditory beat stimulation is an effective way to reduce anxiety. And in Patamanhan in 2005, they found significant results using auditory beat stimulation for their pre-surgical patients and had very significant results. And then in a comparative study by Cheab et al., they found significant results using various frequency waves of auditory beat stimulation with various time durations. All of them were significant, but with different effect sizes. Now, Kasdan's barrier to treatment model indicates that face-to-face delivery, like that in a clinical setting, is a common barrier to more extended treatments because of available resources like money and time, time constraints because we have families and work schedules and school schedules and work, and multitudes of populations as well. So one possible resolution to Kasdan's barrier to treatment is telehealth, which is a growing industry that provides health-related services such as psychological disorders and intervention methods that we've been talking about. And it's all delivered through electronic telecommunications. So the purpose of our study is to evaluate if auditory beat stimulation could have a significant impact on anxiety levels using a telehealth modality. So we hypothesize that college students that participate in the auditory beat stimulation training would report lower self-rated levels of anxiety after exposure to negative news than college students in a controlled condition. So we had 40 participants that completed the study, with 11 participants' data that was excluded due to inaccurate time. We averaged the time to be 20 minutes, and any study that was under 18 minutes we excluded. So we had 29 participants that were included in our final data set for analysis with an average of 30 years in 4 months with a standard deviation of 9.45. We did not control for gender, so we had 93% female, 7% male, and we had predominantly Caucasian with 68.2%. The measures used in our study was the participants in the experimental group watched 10 minutes of the auditory beat stimulation training, while the control group watched 10 minutes of animated music. And then they were both exposed to 7 minutes of news clips that were negative in content. We had the Florida school shooting and the 2001 attack on the Twin Towers, both very disturbing. So participants rated their feelings according to a 4-point Likert scale using the Spielberger State Trait Anxiety Inventory. And now the second half of our presentation will be provided momentarily. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lloyd, and I will be discussing with you the results and discussion sections of our study. So to test our hypothesis that brief auditory beat stimulation influenced participants' self-rated levels of anxiety after exposure to negative news, we conducted a two-tailed independent samples t-test with an alpha value of 0.05. So after conducting this t-test, we discovered that our hypothesis was not supported. So I will go over the results with you according to our graph. So here we have auditory beat stimulation condition, and here we have the control condition. Along the side here we have the state trait anxiety inventory scores. So after conducting the t-test, we discovered that the mean for the auditory beat stimulation was 57.77, and the mean for the control group was 61.13. After conducting the t-test, we discovered that our p-value was 0.42, which is much higher than the significant value of 0.05. You can also see the error bars displayed here, which they do also overlap each other. And so in taking consideration the error bars and also our p-value of 0.42, we concluded that our results were not significant. So our results did not reflect similar findings to previous research on auditory beat stimulation and anxiety, such as Padmanabhan et al. 2005 and Chayeb et al. 2015. So it's possible that our findings didn't produce significant results due to the brief nature of our study. So our auditory beat stimulation video was only 10 minutes, where previous research used longer duration. So Dolbear and Rush uses the 20-minute duration. Quintana and Rivera used a program of 1 to 8 weeks, and Chayeb et al. Used a program of 30-minute duration each day over a period of 60 days. So this is much longer than our 10-minute video. So it's also possible that auditory beat stimulation may not be effective for individuals who don't already struggle with anxiety or stress due to lack of participant engagement. So Manatas et al. 2014 and also Padmanabhan et al. 2005 recruited participants that had already been struggling with stress and anxiety. So this is important to consider. We must also consider that auditory beat stimulation may only be effective when it's combined with other mindfulness techniques. So Bishop 2002 reviewed a number of programs that were significant. So a few of these were mindfulness-based stress reduction, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, and dialectical behavior therapy. So these were all programs that were found significant impact on anxiety, but what's important to consider about these programs is that they use more than one mindfulness technique. So we only used one mindfulness technique in our study. Our study was also delivered through a telehealth modality, which meant that we couldn't control for things such as environmental factors like how, when, or where participants took the study, and also participant engagement, if they actually engaged in the online platform through the entire study, or if they skipped through videos and didn't fully engage on the online platform. The use of auditory beat stimulation and other mindfulness techniques also may not be well accepted among some individuals. This could be due to a lack of understanding of what actually auditory beat stimulation is, or they could have came into the study with already a previous assumption of mindfulness techniques, therefore didn't engage in the practice. A few limitations of our study. So all of our participants were college students, which isn't a correct representation of our general population. 93.1% of participants were also female, which is, again, isn't a correct representation of the general population. Our study was also completed online, therefore we couldn't control for many confound variables such as environmental settings. Our results were also limited by the use of self-reported anxiety levels, so we couldn't control that participants were actually selecting an answer based on their current feelings rather than just going through and picking an answer as fast as they could so that they could complete the study faster. Participants were also only exposed to one 10-minute training video of auditory beat stimulation, which is not a whole lot of time that we had with participants. Participants were also awarded extra credit. While this isn't a limitation in itself, we also have to take in consideration the motivation behind wanting to complete the study. Future research could explore more efficient telehealth delivery procedures, such as conducting research in a clinical setting so they could control for more factors. Time constraints and ease of access. So that is two major things in Kasdan's 2011 barrier to treatment models. Two reasons why a lot of people don't actually get treatment for what they need. So future research should consider those two things as well. The duration of training needed for significant impact. How long do participants actually need to engage in a training program for them to have significant impact on their life? Also, auditory beat stimulation paired with other mindfulness techniques. So does auditory beat stimulation work if it's combined with another technique such as deep breathing or another mindfulness technique? That would be important for future research as well. At the end of the day, it's the primary goal that we see people live without high stress and high anxiety in their life. And so it's important for future research to look at the long-term effects over the period of someone's life and see if mindfulness techniques such as auditory beat stimulation does have an impact on their life. Here are the references that we used in our study. And thank you so much for watching our study.